Welcome to 7 Credit Repair Secrets Exposed. My name's Jeremy. I am the course director for Credit Health Mastery, an excellent course that I have designed, written. It's a video series that has you in mind. You see, years ago, I had excellent credit in my early teens. My mom had me started the right way. I had a couple loans paid off by the time I turned 19, and all 3 of my scores were in the 800. Things were going really well. Well, I had the addiction of the entrepreneur to, I was making good money. We'll just put it that way. And one thing led to another, and my income changed. And I was putting about $10,000 a month on my credit cards. I had the inability to pay, just like that. Happened very quickly. I barely had a week to get things in order. So what happened is I closed out a card, did a balance transfer, cutting one in half, and then I was stuck with 2 larger credit cards, unable to pay. And it just spiraled that way. So for many years after, I lived with less than good credit. I had bad credit, and life is not easy that way. I did not come from wealthy stock, but my family, we were smart about money. So I had a mother who had great credit, and I learned a way of doing things based on that. So now all of a sudden my major tools were taken out from me, because whether you want to get into a home, you don't want to be paying several extra $100 a month on a car loan, or you want to become wealthy, the best way to leverage that is with your credit. Really, the credit is the nucleus to all things. And so I found myself dedicating to not only my credit, but the credit of my peers, the credit of my coworkers, the credit of my clients, learning everything that I could about credit. Credit is has a very interesting nature about it, because it's not perfect, but it is a great algorithm to come up with a number that describes the likelihood that someone's going to pay back lending if they were to borrow money. So what I started to do is accumulate as much knowledge as I could. Very familiar with the nature of the beast. So what I have for you today are 7 secrets, and they're very powerful. I kid you not, if you implement each and every one of these, your score could go up 100 points, just like that. For some of you, you may have already done some of these. They may be new. You may not be in the best position to do a lot of these, because sometimes there's a little bit of an order of operations. Now, the first tip, and I'm just going to give these to you in story form. I think that's the best way to explain it. I'm a smart guy. I don't want to use a bunch of big words and have you feeling that I'm trying to look like something that I'm not, because really I'm one of the fellas. And I want to give this information to my fellow man so that it can assist them in growing their credit. Now, the first one is to become an authorized user on somebody else's account. So me and the woman in my life, we both went to our Capital Ones. We went to an authorized user, filled out the information there, and they sent us out 2 cards with our partner's name on it. And this allows us to have another credit line to where we can be responsible, we can use the card, we get credit for that history. Now, your history for the most part is 50% of your score. 35% is your the length of your credit history, and 15% is your payment history. And so those two together, if you don't have any history at all, that's why you're going to have no score, typically no score before you're going to have you're going to have a very low score. I think it's better to have no credit than bad credit. Sometimes you'll hear otherwise. I don't really dig that. I don't think that's the truth. Because negatives, why keep them on there when you can get them off? But anyways, these two cards, we have our own credit lines. And so she didn't need my card. I didn't need hers. We put those right into a safe. Still in the envelope, and they're just going to sit. But we're now authorized users on a credit line that is going to get used by one of us. So that right there, let's just say for the most part, your score goes up, 15, 20 points for that. 15 might be a little bit more realistic. Now, the other one, this is the biggest, I feel the most amazing, powerful tip there is. And for a lot of you, you've probably heard this, but request and request. Did I say? I can't talk sometimes, but the request an increase on your credit line. The reason why you want to do this is because the higher the limit, the lower your balances are going to be, regardless of how high they get. And so you always want as much money on your availability of a credit card, not for the purpose of using it, but to spread that gap. And so you don't have to use it, but let me give you an example. Let's say you have $500 on a $1,000 credit card, and you bring that limit up to $1,500. Your ratio just went from 50% to 30%, and that is one of the better. That's the ballpark you want to be in. I keep my cards anywhere from 10 to 30%, but never, absolutely never do I go above 30%. I just won't do it. The way my mindset is, my 30% is my limit. It's my limit, regardless of what the credit card companies say. So, but by doing that, your ratio is going to show that you're using. There's going to be a payment history. Credit cards can be very powerful tools to have on your credit. If you do not have a credit card right now, you need to get one. If you can't, get into a secured card right now. That way, eventually, you can graduate into a better card. So that's the second tip right now. Now, the third one, I've never done this, but the reason why I'm really giving this to you, you decide if you want to do something like this or not. But I want you to just see how credit works. Now, if you take your one card and you call and report it stolen right now, what they do is it's an inactive line, but they're going to transfer everything over to another card, send it out to you, and then in all actuality, you have the two accounts right there. And that is going to play with the numbers involved in coming up with your credit score. And so that's an excellent tool. But again, you have to decide if you want to do something like that. I don't think that it's not illegal. It's not unethical. It's not a moral issue necessarily. You're playing the game of credit, and if you want to get your credit up as high as you can, these are the type of things that will do that. Now, the other thing is adding accounts that are not currently reporting to the bureaus. Now, this is a little easier to say than do, because otherwise it would already be on your credit. But let's say you have an account that you're paying on, and again, I have a great example. I was working with this a lending, Monterey Financial. They're not necessarily for, they're not subprime. They're not for people who have destroyed their credit, but they're not the most conventional way of financing. I got it through a third party, and halfway through I found out that they weren't reporting. So I called and asked why, and they said, well, that wasn't the original agreement. So I was like, all right, cool. So when I got to the end, I got a hold of them, and I said, hey, now that this is paid off, will you write them a letter telling them that it's paid in full, that wasn't late, whatever. And they did so to one of the bureaus in my TransUnion. It went up 21 points. A great company that I like to throw out there, I love throwing their name out there, is Rental Karma. Karma is KHARMA. And they will go back and they will report your past rent up to 2 years, and then they'll go forward into the future. And that brought my score up about 25 points. So right now, if we're adding up the points, we're at 100 points right now. Now, the other thing, this one is for the most part working with student loans. Student loans are excellent with working with you. Get a hold of them, make them your new best friend, get current. They'll do what they can to wipe everything out. In fact, I believe if you're 9 to 10 payments into it, they will actually go back and wipe out your history. But whether it comes, whether they forbear, they forgive, they defer is the term I'm looking for. All those things can bring you current. There's a lot of options. So what I'm saying is don't run from your student loans. Okay, get a hold of them. They'll work with you. I by no means work for the student loans, but I'm just telling you, their customer service, it's kind of like the people on the other end are just like you, and they're just here to help you. So I've always had pretty good experiences with them, other than the fact that they want a ton of money from you. So that's an excellent one. Now, the next one is to be aware of the date that your credit cards report. All too often people get this confused with the day that the money is due. Just because the money's due and you make that payment, they don't just go ahead and report to the bureaus. So my dear in my life, the love of my life, she, I'm trying not to use her name. I don't know if she's cool with that, but she had her card report on the 11th. The 11th, so on. Well, all of a sudden, when we really need them to update, because we're doing some big things with credit right now, the 11th came by, they didn't report it. 12th, 13th. All of a sudden, the 19th rolls around, and they finally do it. So, it told me, okay, they're not perfect. And I think we've known for quite some time that credit cards or companies are not perfect. But what you want to do is have your payment down by that time. You don't ever want to go late when your money is due, but don't get those two confused. But if you are really aware of, when they do report, you can easily manipulate your current accounts. You could go get a high interest loan somewhere for a couple days, pay back, and not deal with any interest, but to get your cards down. So this is the game that we're dealt, and I'm teaching you guys to work with this correctly. So the last one that I want to go into with you guys is optoutprescreen.com. Now, I have a paper. I just wanted to read this to you because I don't want to. I tongue twist all the time. This is just one video I'm just doing. I'm not making it perfect. And so bear with me a little bit. But I really want you guys to see who I am. Okay, and I want you to know that if you're going to work with me in the future, this is who I am. So optoutprescreen.com is the official consumer credit reporting industry website to accept and process requests from consumer to opt in or opt out of firm offers or credit insurance. So you're kind of taking yourself out of the system. You're going off grid. And this can change your credit score anywhere from 5 to 50 points. I'm going to be honest, you're looking more at about 5 points, 5, 6, 7 points. Even 10 points might be stretching it. But this alone, some of you, the very few of you, will see your points go up 50 points. So that's just an excellent thing to do and get out of there so you don't have offers coming at you anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of important stuff in here, and the credit cards, keeping those below 30, getting as much credit as you can is the name of the game. And again, it's not to use it, it's just to be further away from your danger zone. So the last, that's 7 secrets right there that are very powerful. But there is kind of a bonus 8th one, and really that's why we're on today. I am the course director for Credit Health Mastery. You know, I'm very passionate about what I do. If there's any game changer or life changer out there, it's repairing your credit. You don't have to live with bad credit. This is something that you can change. The laws that are available to you are very powerful to putting you in a different situation. If items on your credit report are not 100% correct, true, accurate, they come off. We're very good at doing that. I've been doing credit repair. I first came into the industry back in 2007, 2008, and I sold and been a part of working with business coaches and mentors. Every face you've seen on every infomercial late at night, I've worked for those guys. And there's nothing that changes your life more powerfully than repairing your credit. So what happens is this course that we've put together, it's a video series with tons of materials and content. I really do take you by the hand, step by step, spoon feed the critical knowledge to you that you need to wipe everything off of your credit. You've got to make that decision right now. And, I'm not telling you to do that. You are, because you've had enough. You deserve better. If you've shut down on your dreams, you don't even believe you can get in a home anymore, it's time to get out of that. By having better credit, and you are in a mortgage right now, the difference in a few percentage points could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 30-year mortgage. For those of you that are in those high-interest car loans, by having better credit, you can refinance your car and you'll put $200 or $300 back in your pocket each month. Credit is an absolute must. Do it right now. What we charge each month, $19.99, by the time you're done with this program, you will have barely paid half that these other companies will charge you just for the first month. So instead of spending $1,200 for the next 9 to 12 months that they're going to do everything in their power to retain you on, you can do this on your own in baby steps. It's so simple. You know what? When you get done, you're going to be like, that was just silly. It was so easy. And thank goodness the cost is so low, so you're not going to be demanding your money back. But it's us that makes this very simple for you. What I have done is designed it for you in mind. We're going to work on your overall credit, and we are going to fight to remove the negative items on your credit. But more importantly, you are going to become an expert. You're going to think and dream credit after this moment. And so the call to action is right now. You're on this video because you have called this forward. That's how it works. Everything in your life, bad, less than good credit, has brought you to this moment in time to where it's time for you to grab what's within reach. And so click the form or the button or whatever it is they have on this page and get signed up. We hit the ground running. We get started right now. I'm going to be with you along the way. This is a perfect program. The reason why I say that is because there's an active forum. We do updating videos. I reach out to you guys with Q&As. We can tackle anything that comes your way. So if you're a 550 credit score right now, 3-4 months from now, it's that easy to beat a 750. You just got to do what I tell you to do. We have done this and eliminated all objections. It's a very low cost. It's very, very fast. It's very effective. We give you everything you need. You don't need the computer smarts. It's just so simple. I designed this program for you, not for anybody else. Everything was considered with that sensitivity in mind. So right now, start paying yourself. Start doing what the wealthy does. Have good credit. Because 3 months from now, when you're in a better situation, you're going to pull out a piece of paper, a blank one, and you're going to rewrite all your goals. Things that you thought you gave up on, things that you didn't think were possible. You're now going to see how they're easily achievable. Okay, so let's get started right now. I look forward to working with you. Shoot me an email, say hello. I'm your personal expert available for you to get this done. And so I want to thank you as well now for allowing me to be a part of this journey. for bringing the two of us together so I can assist you in changing your life. Yeah, this is exciting.